Hello everyone, it's me, Reine, and today I want to talk about the Cloud of Darkness Chaotic. First, I'll start by telling you that I am not a raider. I usually do crafting and gathering content and achievement hunting and just collecting mounts and minions and stuff. I have done Dawn Trail's first and third extreme, and I do not plan to touch the savages at all. I usually wait until the savages unlock so that you don't have to do them 1 to 4, you can just skip straight to the 4. If I like the glamour, that's like the main reason for me to go there. I don't care about the beast gear. So yeah, not a raider. Now that that's out of the way, Cloud of Darkness Chaotic. Absolute madness, I love it. The reason I wanted to go there was actually, again, mounts. Then we learned that there's a cool hairstyle from there, so that's always a plus, but yeah. I've cleared it now 6 times. I've spent 11 hours progging before the first clear, and now I've spent at least the same amount of time trying to get the other clears and more. But it's still fun. Like, how should I say it? When you do extreme fights, you learn the fight, there's only 7 other people, and you go from point A to point B to point C, and it's like very specific where you go, and it's easy to learn. In this Cloud of Darkness Chaotic, there's 23 people with you, and there's so many mechanics that might you can have so many different combinations of mechanics happen to you that it's never the same. So it's, even if I haven't cleared it as many times as I have played it already, I still think it's really cool. So, fight, I absolutely love it. Rewards, I think they're good. I think they're just enough, because if there was more rewards, there would be much more pressure to go in and try to get them. I do like that you can buy almost everything from the market board. I think the only thing you can't buy is the Cloud of Darkness mount. But yeah, I like that you can buy them from the market board, so that gives an incentive for people to go in during the bonus time to farm the mounts and hairstyles and stuff, so that it can be shared with the rest of the community who, for any reason, don't want to go do the fight or can't do the fight. I myself couldn't have done the fight if it needed a Discord like Baldesion Arsenal or the Bossia Extreme thing did. But because Discord is not needed for this fight, I actually got to do it, and I'm really happy about that. And I can't wait to do it 50 more times for the Cloud of Darkness mount, because I'm not trusting my luck with the drop rate. I am a bit worried about the... Well, I have not once done the fight with the limited time bonus on, so I don't know how good the drop rates are when it's on for the hair and the mount that can be bought with the Material 2. Because I am a bit worried what will happen to those items once most of the people have cleared the fight, because you only get 2 Demi Materia 2s for each first timer, and I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough to keep people wanting to go back just to get others clears for the hair and mount that can be bought with Demi Materia 2 once they have them for themselves. I mean, I guess some high-end traders can use this as a very good way to make gil. I would assume. Because I do other stuff to make gil, like crafting and gathering, I don't really think of this as a gil making option, but I guess it could be enticing for some people who just want to raid, yeah. Instead of doing treasure maps and getting loot from there. So I am a bit worried about the Demi Materia 2 situation, but if the bonus time just gives you like at least one of the drops every time, I think that's like fairly balanced. So I guess that's all about the rewards. So I think it's fairly balanced. I like there's enough rewards, but not too many, and I would like to see other fights like this. Then about the fight itself, I've heard many people say that they wanted an actual raid, like Alliance raid, where you have multiple bosses. I guess that's the thing, because I don't believe anyone cares for the trash mobs in Alliance raids. So I guess some people were kind of disappointed about that it's just one boss, but I think it works, because there's 2 different arenas, and you kind of have to learn to play in every group to learn add mechanics and the middle mechanics and stuff. So there's like a lot to learn, even if it's just one fight. So I think it works. I think if they're going to be making more of these chaotic raids, this is the best option. Phase 1, I think, is fairly, I'm not gonna say simple, because I've been doing it so much now that of course it feels simple to me, but it's not simple. I'd say the first phase is good introduction to the fight. It has enough mechanics to make it hard, you have to be awake, but it's not too punishing yet, because you don't have to mind what other people are doing that much yet. Second phase, so when the arena changes and there's PvP tiles, it's so good. I think the difficulty of this fight, the full fight, is around what an extreme would be. I would say that, at least when I'm thinking about the third extreme of Dawntrail. But, of course with a but, because the towers hit quite heavy, and because there is the swap, which makes you have to learn a bit about each group, it kinda elevates it to be closer to Savage level. So I think they were pretty correct in calling that it's like extreme-ish, Savage fight. I think the difficulty is around there. It's not, I would not say it's mid-core content, because for me mid-core means normal raids and maybe extremes. I would call myself a mid-core. I don't do savages, and I do extremes only if I feel like it, if the fight looks like it's gonna be fun. If the fight looks like it's not gonna be fun and it's gonna be a pain, I'm not gonna do it. So I would call myself a mid-core. I think once you're in a static, that's when you're like hardcore. If you do things, even if you do savages, but if you do them in the party finder, I think you're kind of mid-core if you're not like doing it every week and trying to proc and stuff. Just doing it for clamor. But yeah, I think the difficulty is about what they said, and even if this fight isn't that of a mid-core, I still think even mid-core players and even players who haven't dabbled yet, I think it's good if you have done some extremes synced before you get into this fight. But I don't think you need to have done any savages ever. I feel like extremes prepare you for the Chaotic Alliance well enough in terms of what you should expect for how many mechanics are happening and at the same time and stuff like that. So I had the 725 eye level weapon, full crafted left side, and of course updated, so it was 720. And my right side was 730 tome gear and one crafted ring at 720. And it was enough. It was enough to get me through. Because I don't have beast gear and I do not have savage gear and won't have it, I will never reach 730 as my full eye level, which has been in many farm groups the minimum eye level. So sadly I am getting locked out of farm groups for not doing savages. But that's okay, because so far I have been doing kill groups and practice groups, not only because then I get more of the demi materia 2s when we clear, but also because I want to know the fight really well before I go in. I want to be good at the A group and the B group and the C group, because if I get swapped into any of those, then I know what to do. And I think that's like enough for me, because I know I will not be bringing the best damage, so I will instead bring the best mechanical skill. The bare minimum I can do is do the fight correctly. Well, it's not the bare minimum because it's really hard to do, but it's like what I strive for. The bare minimum I do is actually just eat food, use bot, have your gear melded. If you do those three things, I think you are really good already. You're better than most people. I've seen people who don't even meld their gear. Also, after you've done those three things, you go to the striking dummy, you choose chaotic and you check if you can kill the striking dummy. If you can do it in the 3 minutes, you're good to go. It doesn't matter if you're not the best damage. You struck down the striking dummy, you have food, you use pots, you have melts, you have the minimum item level for the fight, you have all the rights to be there. And then it's just about doing the mechanics really, really well. And that's what I strive for. So I just keep going to the kill parties and the practice parties because I want to be 100% sure that I can do anything the fight throws at me. If the swaps, for example, go a little awry and I get yeeted to a place I wasn't supposed to go to. I want to be ready to adjust. And that also makes the fight really fun because I can just keep going to the practices and every time I'm still learning something new. I'm still improving in executing the fight. So it's great. I really like it. Not a raider, kind of a casual, kind of a mid-core maybe, and I do approve. I would like to see more of these. But I can't be completely positive, I must say this. This fight came at the worst time. First of all, they released the patch 7.1 a week before Christmas, and then they decided that this fight will be in the game, but you can only access it on the 24th of December, which is Christmas. That was so stupid of them. Absolute madness. Second thing, for this Dawntrail expansion, we haven't had much content, let's say it like that. Well, we have had the typical things we get during the expansion. Main scenario quest, dungeons, expert dungeons, etc. And of course we're leveling jobs to 100 and stuff. Typical stuff, yeah. The wait times between patches are longer, so it feels like we don't have as much to do. That's first thing, that's not very good. Second thing, the hardcore raiders just got an ultimate. Now I'm not sure how long they have been waiting for the newest ultimate. I think it's been a long time. So good for them, I'm really glad they got their content. Also, they have savages, so they can play that. Expert dungeons are finally feeling like expert dungeons, that's really good. So the battle content is blooming in this game. And then they give us the chaotic, which is also battle content. So while it's really good, I think they could have given it us later. Or, well, no, I'm not gonna say that they could have given the ultimate later, because I'm not gonna take that away from the people who want it. But this chaotic, they could have given it to us later, and they could have given us non-battle content. Or the so-called mid-core content, which would be relic grinding or something like that. I just think there's a little bit too much battle content and like high-end battle content, extremes, savages, ultimate, chaotic, and we're kind of forgetting everything else. Now I assume that we're gonna get them in the later patches, like the Cosmic Exploration, which I'm really excited for, hoping it's actually not like Island Sanctuary, but more like Escort Restoration. I believe we're gonna get all that content in later patches, but it does come at the cost of not having that content now, and we're just stuck with these very high-end fights and just the battle content. Once you have done every battle content, you're just not gonna keep running them. It's gonna get boring at sometimes. You would like to do something different in the meanwhile, at the middle of it. But now there's not really much to go back to. You can do the high-end content, or you can level up, which is also battle content, and then you can just do old content. So we're kind of missing new content that isn't just battle stuff. Even if the battle stuff is, like I keep saying, it has really improved. I've gotten more into it now too. But it's still not new content for the other stuff. Which I think they should make it more, they should spread these things out more in a way that there's a little bit of everything at the same time, rather than everything at one time, and then the other stuff at one time, and then the other stuff at one time. If you understand what I mean, I'm not good at saying it. But yeah, that's something I'm a bit critical of. Of course, I feel like I can say this because I actually am running the chaotic and I do like it. But if I had not been able to go there, if it was like something that people asked to be in Discord for and stuff, I would have gone since the release of Dawn Trail without any content that is like for me. And as a long-time player, it's kind of sad. And yes, I can do old content, but I mean like new content, because old content is always there. I can do that whenever. I am doing that all the time in the middle of doing new stuff. But if there's no new stuff at all, why would I even come back for the old content? And don't... If I see even one comment saying, Yoshi P says you should try playing other games. I have played other games. I want to play this game. I said about this in my Ronique Mount Tokens Suck video. It wasn't named that, but like, it was me talking about how I don't like how the Ronique Mount... how the Mount Tokens work. Because it's new content for gatherers, but it's just going from one gathering node to another and waiting 3 to 4 minutes in between each of them. So it's not really... I would rather be in Diadem. Well, I guess that's all. I started going to a side rants.